I think the political landscape and consensus really shifted in the second quarter when Trump embraced crypto. The crypto community, I think, was at the end of their rope, where it was pretty clear the current administration was going to continue to wage a war on crypto via enforcement actions, and they had nothing to lose by abandoning, the Democratic Party, and they made that decision. And then I think there was a, atmosphere of lawfare that caused, Trump to decide he would be benefited to ally with the crypto community. So that alliance formed and got progressively stronger, and I think that changed the political landscape, not just in the U.S., but it changed it in the world, actually. It changed the course of human history. I think it changed the outcome of the election. Right? I think the crypto community support actually was a material force that tipped the election, in favor of the red sweep. And I think we got a red sweep in part because of the support of the digital assets community. So I think that there were really two possible futures, two timelines in March or February of the year. And one timeline, the blue timeline, is Bitcoin motors up as the one crypto asset that's embraced as a commodity by the global community, and then everything else sits in a gray zone, right? And in a world of uncertainty. And I think the second timeline, the red timeline, is the war on crypto ends. We get a supportive administration, House and Senate. We get a digital assets framework. We get a framework. There's three things we need in a framework. We need a taxonomy. We need legitimacy. And we need proportionality. And a taxonomy means give me a physical, ethical definition of a digital commodity, a digital security, a digital token, a digital currency, an NFT, and a digital asset-backed token, an ABT. We need those things defined. I can't tell you exactly, what happens next because I haven't seen the framework, right? And that has to be determined in dialogue between the White House and the cabinet and the House and the Senate and the industry. But I'm optimistic, right? And now I would say my forecast for Bitcoin isn't that different. It's going to grow 29% ARR over 21 years to be a $280 trillion asset class and 13 million a coin. That's not that different. Maybe a little bit faster up front. Maybe I'm leaning more toward the base case to the bull case than I was leaning from the base case toward the bear case. So yeah, I'm a bit more optimistic. But I think the big major sea change is you can see $500 trillion of conventional assets getting tokenized to become digital assets. I think the issue is, why wouldn't half of the equity in the world become digital equity? Like, why wouldn't you expect to see Apple stock, Google, Amazon stock trading on your iPhone and your Android phone as tokenized security? And I would think that the path is open for stablecoin, that to go from $150 billion to $1 trillion to $10 trillion. I mean, I at this point, you define a digital currency, you peg it to dollar equivalents. Yeah, there ought to be a regulatory environment where a company or a bank, especially in the U.S., can issue a U.S. dollar-backed stable coin. I think there's $10 trillion of demand for that. I think that we're going to go from $100 billion to a $10 trillion industry in stable coins. We're just waiting for the framework for the digital currency. And as you know, I don't think that Bitcoin is digital currency. I think Bitcoin is digital capital. Currency is the short-term medium of exchange pegged to the fiat currency. Capital is the long-term store of value competing with real estate and gold and high-quality equity and your art, that you're going to give to your grandchildren. I think those two are clear. I think, though, for this industry to thrive, the government's got to give you the minimal of rules and then get out of the way. And what happens next is, I think, millions and millions of digital assets will be created. I think that'll bring the exchanges to life. That'll create a renaissance in the wallets. That'll create a renaissance in all the applications. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure lots of people will do stupid things and they'll crash and burn. 99% of the companies that start fail, and 99% of the, whatever, public companies have a hard time competing against the Magnificent Seven. Just like 99% of businesses eventually get shut down. But you know what? What percentage of the people die over 100 years? Like 99%? It's like we shouldn't stop people from living just because over 100-year time frame, there's a high mortality rate for whatever. So I would say what's really interesting here is we jolted from a very regressive, a very depressing timeline to a very progressive, very inspirational, pro-technology, pro-prosperity timeline. And it all happened in 2020.